Welcome back to another session of our write. I am Ms. Shamshuddin, and I hope that you are ready for us to continue as we try to write better and better compositions. Now, every story is done by a writer. When you write your composition, you are considered the writer because you are the writer. When you write, it is done through your eyes or how you see it. But as I said in our previous lesson, it is not always your experience. The writing that you do or the composition that you write can be based on your experience or it can be based on someone else's experience. We say that those are writing styles. Now, the writing styles that you can use can be considered as first-person point of view, second-person point of view, or third-person point of view. Now, what do we mean by these terms? Now, I know we also only touched on first and third-person point of view, but we'll also look a little at second-person point of view. Now, when we speak about first-person point of view or first-person perspective, words such as I, mine, my, me are used. It indicates that the writer is a character in the story. And very often, the writer is the main character of the story. First-person point of view can be singular or it can be plural. The singular forms used are I or me, even my. And the plural forms used or the words used to indicate plural is we. Both are used to give you, the writer, a personal perspective. Let's look at these examples. I always look forward to my August vacation at the beach. I like to collect seashells and swim in the ocean. We love walking the dogs in the forest. We all think it's so much fun. If it was up to me, I would choose the white car. If it was up to me, I would choose the white car. We didn't want to drive, so we took the bus to the city and back home. We didn't want to drive, so we took the bus to the city and back home. Now, let's look at the third-person point of view or third-person perspective. For the third-person perspective, the writer is writing about an experience of someone. This perspective, again, can be either singular or plural. The story that is being written can be based on either a male or a female's experience, which means if you are a boy, you can write the story in the third person about the experience of a girl named Mary or Hannah or Alicia. You can write about a female. And if you're a girl, you can also write about the experience of a male. You can write about what had happened to Larry or what did Brian do. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Words such as he, she, it, or they are used in the third person point of view. Now here I have a few scenarios to show you writing in the third person point of view or perspective. While Bob was planning a special night out with Millie, she was quietly making plans to go visit her parents. All of their friends were shocked when she said she wasn't going. While Bob was planning a special night with Millie, she was quietly planning to go visit her parents. All of her friends were shocked when she didn't go. Amy was looking forward to girls' night out, but the others in her group of friends were secretly hoping that the monthly outing would be canceled. I have a last scenario here. Ed's teacher knew how much potential the teenager had, but the reality is that he just was not interested in school. He had too much to do at home. Now, whatever point of view you choose to use in writing depends on the scenario that is directed to you. Remember, just like I explained with present and past tense, you have to read the scenario carefully. If you are telling a story about your experience, use the first person point of view. When writing based on someone else's experience, use the third person point of view. Now, even though we have not discussed extensively, there is also writing that's being done in the second person perspective. Now, in this style of writing, the writer directs the piece written to a direct person or an audience. And mostly when writing in the second person point of view, it is used to give directions or instructions. So we would see the use of words such as you, your, yours. These words indicate the second person point of view. Now I have a few scenarios that I will read. And as I read, I want you to listen, take note of the clue words, and try to figure out whether it is written in the first, second, or third person perspective. Let's get started. Do you like candy? I asked my friend Roxy. I always make friends with other people. Now, is this written in the first, second, or third person perspective? Let's move on. To make French toast. First, take out the skillet to cook and turn on the stove low. Second, you will melt the butter in the pan and stir it with a spatula. Third, beat the eggs. Fourth, lay the bread, white or wheat, on both sides in the egg. Fifth, rest the bread on top of butter for 30 seconds, then turn it over. Now you will have a slice of French toast. And you repeat that to make another. Now this piece of writing, was it done in first, second, or third person perspective? Number 3, Jesse had felt sad all day. Jesse thought and thought about his situation, and he thought to himself, I need to get myself together. Maria came in the door and asked what was wrong. He told her. Maria frowned. She felt as though if she was being abandoned by everyone. Now, is this scenario written in first, second, or third person perspective? Number 4, we were not as close as we once were, at least not since the thing happened. We were sitting in science class when I decided to look at her notebook. I noticed that she wasn't taking notes. Now, is this one written in first, second, or the third person perspective? Number 5, some dark night, Shelley said, I hate squirrels, but really she loved them. Carol said, they smell, but really she loved them too. Both of them thought that squirrels were pretty cute. Choose, either it is written in the first, second, or third person perspective. And our last scenario, how to properly clean your disk. First, buy a CD buffer from your neighborhood game shop. If you want to clean your CD for free instead, get a Q-tip or soft cloth. Use alcohol or window cleaner and wipe up and down, applying light pressure as needed. Now, is this written in first, second, or third person perspective? Now that you had time to do those with me, you read them and you had time to choose, let's look at the answers and see if you would have chosen the correct perspective. Number 1. Do you love candy? I asked my friend Roxy. I always make friends with other people. Now that scenario was written in the first person perspective. Did you choose the first person perspective as your answer? Please look for the words, I asked my friend. I always make friends with other people. That's a personal experience. Number 2, to make French toast. First, take out a skillet to cook and turn the stove on low. Now right there, it's an indication that we are telling someone how to do something. So that scenario is written in second person perspective. Number 3, Jesse had felt sad all day. Jesse thought and thought about his situation. This scenario is written in the third person perspective. Did you find that out? Yes. Here you see that the writer is writing about someone else. So the names are being mentioned. Everything in the story is based on what has happened to Jesse, and then we see Maria. So it is not the experience of the writer themselves. Number 4, we are not as close as we once were. At least not since the thing happened. Which perspective did you choose? Remember I said, even in the first person perspective, it can either be singular or plural. Here we see the word we, which means that the writer is also a character in this scenario. So this is also written in first person perspective. Was that one a bit tricky? I hope you got it correct. Number 5. Some dark night, Shelley said, I hate squirrels. But really, she loved them. Carol said, they smell. But really, she loved them too. This scenario is written in the third person perspective. We see that it is based on Shelley and Carol's experience and not the person who is writing. Number 6. How to properly clean your disk. First, buy a CD buffer from your neighborhood game shop. That scenario, if you look, you have a few clue words there indicating to you that this is written in the second person perspective. It is giving you the directions on how to properly clean your disk. All right, boys and girls, I hope that you did well in that practice activity. Remember, to be able to write a good composition, you must remember the parts of the composition, how to plan and how to go about writing. But it is also important to remember the point of view from which you should write. You read the scenarios carefully in order to determine which point of view your composition should be written from. Should it be written from the first person point of view? If such, words such as I, me, mine, we, my should be used. In the second person point of view, if your composition should be written from that point of view, you will use words such as you, your, yours. Remember, in the second person point of view, most times you are given directions or instructions. If your composition should be written from a third person point of view, then you will use words such as he, she, it, them, they, and you will be mentioning particular names. Well, that's all for our lesson today. You can review some of the work we have done so far and figure out from what point of view those stories or scenarios were written from. Please continue to review your work and stay safe. I am Ms. Shamshideen saying goodbye for now.